Hey, what's going on, everybody? So let's get right into it. We're gonna talk about a few things. I want to say hello to my subscribers, new subscribers, and previous subscribers to the channel, Crypto Wonder. I talk about different things, primarily crypto and current events outside of crypto. So this is a moment that is going to be no different than that. So let's get right into it, right? And first and foremost, I want to say to some of the viewers that, because recently I just uploaded a plethora of illustrious videos that were captured. Well, the content wasn't illustrious, but the videos, I should say, were captured by different people who were in New York City documenting the efforts, the riots, I should say, not efforts, but the riots and looting that was taking place. And I uploaded it on the channel for awareness. Okay, to spread awareness, not to take any credit for anything. Let's be clear. Let's not act foolish and behave like idiots out here. I'll give credit where it's due, when it's due. Relax. That's not the point. The point is what's going on at the larger scale. Let's stick to the focus. Let's be focused, people. I'm not a clout chaser, so don't be a hater. All right. So this is a situation where we have these protests that have just been, culminated in the sum accumulation of an enormous amount of problems that stem from the killing that took place of George Floyd by that officer in Minneapolis on Memorial Day last week. Now, the killing was heinous. I mean, it just bothered me. It bothered my spirit. It bothered anyone who has a conscience. This is why I say we need to solve the problems. Let's get to solving the problem that's causing these things to happen. Not just add or create narratives that do nothing but continue to help the problems continue to manifest. Black Lives Matter is not helping anything. It hasn't helped since its inception. Or else George Floyd, David Dorn, Patrick Underwood, the young lady from Iowa, the gentleman who owned a barbecue restaurant. I'm going to get into all of that. What I'm saying is this. You're looking at George Floyd's, an article that was written by dailymail.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, I'll leave a link in the description. You're looking at an article that was that was done by the establishment, identifying the criminal history of George Floyd. Okay, sometimes we get caught, and I am no different. I was like, wow. This guy, he was known to be a gentle giant, upstanding. He had, made videos, trying to encourage kids to do the right thing. And that was great. And, and that's fine. Rest in peace to this man. And condolences to his family and loved ones who are grieving his loss. There's no money that can replace his life. His life cannot be brought back. Let's be clear on that. And everyone who's exploiting the situation, because that's what's taking place here too. Exploitation. Folks are exploiting what's going on, and they continue to exploit all the families that have gone through these similar situations. Because for many, it's not about solving injustice, it's about getting paid. This man here has had a criminal history, folks. Sad to say. Another situation where a black man gets killed, and then we find out after the fact they've had some type of criminal history. And this is the problem that bothers me. Like it just girds my loins, because it's not about placing judgment. This is why I say it's about solving the problem that's causing these people to allegedly handle fake $20 bills. That's causing these people to allegedly handle or deal with bootleg cigarettes and all these other different types of things and drugs and etc. The problems need to be faced. The problems need to be solved. The problems need to be resolved. And these things are not happening. We're losing focus here. It's not about Democrat. It's not about Republican. For me, both parties are full of crap. They're full of shit. Two wings of the same bird, like Ice-T says. If you look through this article, it'll say, towards the middle of the article, the 46-year-old left behind his past in Houston after being released from prison stemming from a 2007 robbery. Again, I'll leave a link in the description for this article. He pled guilty to entering a woman's home, pointing a gun at her stomach, and searching the home for drugs and money, according to court records. Floyd was sentenced to 10 months in jail for having less than 1 gram of cocaine in December 2005 arrest. He had previously been sentenced to 8 months for the same offense, stemming from an October 2002 arrest. Floyd was arrested in 2002 for criminal trespassing and served 30 days in jail. He had another stint for theft in August of 1998. Okay, this is where I say it's important to call it down the middle. I don't like hearing about how people, they get killed. No one deserves to get killed by a police officer, by anybody, except if a person is asking, is in a position to do that and they're causing harm, then the consequences are what they are. But this is not the situation here. It's not the situation here. Clearly on camera, we're looking at it was a heinous act that was done in front of the world to see. It's a public lynching, execution. But this is a man who was afflicted. This is a man who had to deal with narcotics, who had to deal, they say that he was working at a restaurant as a bouncer, as a security person, but lost his job due to COVID-19. The restaurant owner had to shut down, quarantine, etc., no job. So here we go. This man now is supposedly, allegedly, was in a store trying to buy some cigarettes with a fake $20 bill. Who is addressing the problems that's causing this man to have had to pick up a counterfeit freaking bill to use for cigarettes? We're not thinking about these things. We're not thinking about how he seemed. You could tell he was afflicted. He could tell this man was suffering from drugs, suffering from a criminal past. I mean, you're not judging a book by its cover, but those who know. You know what substance abuse looks like. You know what alcoholism looks like. They're saying that he was drunk. I'm not saying he was an alcoholic. I'm talking about systemic problems that have afflicted so many, substance abuse issues that have afflicted so many, criminal activities that have afflicted so many for so long, and these issues are not being addressed. How many black men and women have been killed by the police who've also had criminal backgrounds that people exalted initially and then come to find out they had criminal backgrounds? What's being done to address the need for these people to resort to crime? What's being done to address the need to stop these people from to stop the need to go the criminal route? Nothing. There's nothing out here. There's nothing. There's no talks of that. When in New York City, the governor has been saying, people have to come, be intelligent, be smart when you protest, identify your demands, and clear with the demand in so many words, fix the problems. It can't be more clear than that. The demand for the president, fix the problems. Not put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound the size of the Grand Canyon. It's sickening. You go through this, and I'm not going to read too much into this article. Again, like I said, I'm going to leave the material, the link to the description of this video and article, the article in the description for you to read when you get a chance. But it's sad. Supposedly, the woman that he held the gun to her stomach, she was pregnant at the time. And now they're saying that, he also had dealings with, fentanyl. I mean, this is just crazy. It's just crazy. And since his death, there have been more killings that have been done since George Floyd passed away. There's very little exposure about that. What is Black Lives Matter doing that? Is Black Lives Matter let's get right into those issues. An article here by theguardian.com. A restaurant owner, a football star, just like the other gentleman, George Floyd. He was known as a great athlete, and he was also identified as a gentle giant because he was a big guy, tall in stature, over 6 feet tall, etc. But here you have another situation. The people killed as protests spread. Was a retired St. Louis police captain checking on his friend's shop. Another was a beloved owner of a Louisville barbecue restaurant who provided free meals to officers. Yet another was a man known as Mr. Indianapolis, a former football star player. They are among those killed as protests have roiled American cities in the week since the death of George Floyd. St. Louis, Missouri, a 77-year-old retired St. Louis police captain who served 38 years on the force was shot and killed by looters at a pawn shop early Tuesday, authorities said. David Dorn was found dead on the sidewalk in front of the ransacked store. No arrests have been made. No one has been arrested. Another situation. Louisville, Kentucky. Police and the National Guard troops trying to clear a crowd Monday heard gunshots and returned to fire, killing David McAtee, the owner of a barbecue restaurant. McAtee was a 53-year. The mayor fired the police chief after finding out officers had not turned on their body-worn cameras. McAtee was a 53-year-old African-American man known for offering free meals to officers who stopped by his restaurant. I'll leave a link in the description to this article. In Oakland, California, a federal officer was providing security at a U.S. courthouse during a protest when someone fired shots from a vehicle. David Patrick Underwood, 53, died, and another officer was critically wounded. Underwood, who was black, and the other officer were contracted security officers employed by the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Protective Service. It wasn't immediately clear if the drive-by shooting was related to the protests, though the federal building's glass doors were smashed and the front entrance was sprayed with anti-police graffiti. No one has been arrested. In Indianapolis, Indiana, 2 people were killed this past weekend amidst unrest, including 38-year-old Chris Beatty, a former offensive lineman for Indiana University. Beatty was known as Mr. Indianapolis and remained involved with the Hoosiers long after graduation. He was also a prominent businessman running multiple nightclubs. The circumstances of BT's shooting weren't immediately clear, but some media reports said it happened near his apartment. It came the same night, an 18-year-old man was fatally shot as protests erupted in the city. Davenport, Iowa. Police are investigating the deaths of 22-year-old Italia Kelly, who was shot Monday while leaving a protest outside Walmart, and of a man found near where suspects exchanged gunfire with police. Kelly and a friend were getting in the vehicle to leave because a protest had turned unruly when she was struck in the back by a bullet, said her aunt, Amy Hale of Atkinson, Kansas. No arrests have been made. Minneapolis, Minnesota. In what is believed to be the first killing since the protest broke out, Calvin L. Horton Jr. was fatally shot outside a pawn shop last week. The owner of the pawn shop, who is white, was arrested in the death of Horton, 43-year-old black man. Police say they are investigating circumstances of the killing, including whether it was related to protests to the neighborhood. The shop was described as having been significantly damaged during the unrest. Omaha, Nebraska. James Skurlock, a 22-year-old black man, was killed on Saturday after authorities said he tussled with the owner of two downtown bars. Surveillance video of this strip of bars shows a clash among a group of people, including Skurlock and Jake Gardner, the white bar owner. Two people shoved Gardner to the ground, and he fires shots in the air. Seconds later, Sherlock is seen jumping on Gardner, who then fires the gun over his shoulder, striking Skurlock. Authorities have declined to press charges in the death, calling the shooting self-defense, but Gardner could still face misdemeanor gun charges because his concealed carry permit for the gun had expired. Detroit, Michigan. A 21-year-old man was killed in downtown Detroit after someone fired shots into a vehicle during a protest. According to a police report, the man was sitting in the driver's seat of a car in a parking lot with two others when someone opened fire and then ran away. Chicago, Illinois. Two people were killed during unrest Monday in the south suburb of Cicero, according to a town official. A spokesman, Ray Hanania, did not provide details about those who were killed, but said it had happened during protests. I'll leave a link in the description to this article. Where's Black Lives Matter in all of this? Why are these incidents not headlined throughout the media outlets, throughout television, social media? Yeah, it's about exploitation and not fixing the problems. You know how many black men that have been killed and had some problems, personal problems going on in their lives that led to their killing. But folks don't want to talk about that. Folks don't want to talk about the personal problems they had, the violent criminal histories they had, and how to fix that. Their deaths were inexcusable. Inexcusable. Don't mistake what I'm saying. But the problems are ever present. The problems did not go away since George Floyd. So you want to talk about what goals does Black Lives Matter really have? What goals do these whatever you want to call them, groups, leftists, blah blah blah, what goals does the president really have? Like, no one is meeting anything. No one knows what they're doing. It's all about ego, power, who can control who, losing sight as to what really counts. It's about being hypocrites, two-face, contradiction, left and right, politics, nonsense. That's what it's about. And it's disgusting, and that's a disgrace in itself. In and of itself. It's horrible. It's horrible. People are looting for the sake of looting. Don't even know what the cause is. Folks are just creating havoc and mayhem, obliterating small businesses. not understanding the ramifications, not understanding the consequences that are about to take place. But you have another group that's spearheading all of this. That's just pro, just it's just both sides, both sides. See, this is the problem. Both sides. Everyone thinks that they have the best plan, but they can't even tell you what their best plan is. What is clear is that there are problems that have been present for so long, dealing with poverty, deprivation, desperation, that causes people to look for drugs, that causes people to allegedly find fentanyl relating to George Floyd, and fake $20 bills, and bootleg cigarettes with Eric Gardner, and whatever nefarious, shady, with bootleg CDs, with these other incidents that happened with these other gentlemen that got killed. Bootleg CDs, and another one that, Michael Brown, all these people, rest in peace, but they had problems. They had problems. No one's fixing those freaking problems to help those problems be, end those problems so that they don't have to continue again. So we could talk about something else. Move on. We can't even do that. Why do you think we keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again? Sometimes it's just simply senseless killings. We get that. Because the whole thing with Sean Bell, 50 shots by police. 50 shots, senseless. George Floyd right here, senseless. Choking him out like that, senseless. Trayvon Martin, senseless. The list could go on. The gentleman in pink houses, they got shot by the Asian cop, senseless. The list can go on. Disgusting. State of affairs, disgusting, and no one has the answer. No one knows how to fix the problem, but want to judge others who want to fix the problem, though. Who want to say, hey, wait a minute. Yes, this some issues going on here, but it's about money for people. It's about money. I know this is a long video, but it is what it is. This is how I get down sometimes. It's about money, man. It's about money. All these attorneys who are quick to showboat and get on that podium and talk their talk. It's about money, because they see there's a nice settlement they're coming to right now. It's not about the family. They lost their loved ones. They can't get it back. They're grieving forever. It's about money, exploiting families, exploiting people who exploiting children. My goodness, this man left a child. I believe they said 2 children, but at least a daughter I saw with the mother from Texas. But people are just, they don't care. Doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter how many deaths, all these people who have died subsequently since George Floyd, they don't matter, right? Why aren't they talked about even more? Why isn't everything on the table? And what discussions are being made to solve this problem?